We're down to the final 2 weeks of the 2025 NFL season, and as we head towards Week 17, we have an opportunity to have the playoff picture be completed. And in today's video, we break down how that can happen, with every single playoff clinching and elimination scenario heading into Week 17. Let's start with a quick overview of the playoff picture in both conferences. Starting in the AFC, the Denver Broncos still occupy the number 1 seed, even after a loss to the Jaguars thanks to their tiebreaker over the Patriots. Also in the lead in their respective divisions are the Patriots at number 2, the Jaguars at 3, and the Steelers at 4, with the Chargers, Bills, and Texans still occupying the 3 wildcard spots. And in the NFC, it looks like this. Thanks to a win over the Rams, the Seahawks now occupy the number 1 seed in the NFC, with the Bears, Eagles, and Panthers currently leading their respective divisions, and the 49ers, Rams, and Packers having the 3 wildcard spots. So with that in mind, let's take a look to see how these playoff pictures can change depending on the what-if scenarios of Week 17. Let's keep it in the NFC and start with our top-seeded Seahawks. So they can actually clinch the 1 seed and a first-round bye at the end of the week if they're able to beat the Panthers, and both the Rams and 49ers have a loss or tie. Big week here for Seattle. It's a tough game against the Panthers. You'd expect them to win, but Carolina can be scary good at times for no apparent reason. The Rams play the Atlanta Falcons this week, so you're probably not holding your breath that they lose, but the 49ers could definitely lose or tie against Chicago. That is a very difficult game. But the 1 seed may not be the only thing the Seahawks are playing for. They could also clinch the NFC West at the end of the weekend, with that same scenario we just talked about with the 1 seed, or in the event that they tie their game with Carolina and both the Rams and the 49ers lose straight up. As for the 2nd seed in the NFC right now, the Bears, they can win their division with a win versus the 49ers, a tie and a Packers tie, or a straight-up Green Bay Packers loss. Honestly, it's looking pretty good for the Bears to have a high seed and to win their division. They've got a multi-game lead over the Lions and the Packers. They can absolutely beat the 49ers. It's a winnable game. They've shown they're a capable team. If not, you could look forward to Green Bay just losing their matchup against the Ravens. They could be without Jordan Love thanks to a concussion, so a very losable game on that end as well. Big week here for the Bears. Next up, we can skip right over the 3-seeded Eagles who wrapped up the NFC East and talk about the Carolina Panthers. So the Panthers have an opportunity to straight up win the NFC South this week, and that can happen if they're able to beat the Seahawks and the Buccaneers lose or tie their game against Miami, or in the scenario where Panthers tie and the Buccaneers lose. Obviously, if you're a Carolina fan, you're probably not holding your breath this week. It's a tough ask to beat Seattle, who are one of the best teams in the league, but also have Tampa Bay lose to Miami, who have absolutely nothing to play for. The final clinching scenario in the NFC could be for the final wildcard spot. The Green Bay Packers can officially clinch the playoffs with a winner tie versus the Ravens or a Detroit loss or tie. Much like the Panthers, this is another situation where it may end up just coming down to Week 18 for your playoff hopes. Green Bay could be without Jordan Love against the Ravens. They may be without Lamar potentially, but who really knows there? Very uncertain in that scenario. And Detroit have a game against Minnesota that you'd expect them to win. They've lost to them once before this season, but you wouldn't expect it to happen 2 times in a row. Very un-Lions-like for such a thing. So Green Bay, I would just try and take care of business if I can. I would not let this go down to Week 18. Don't let it get sweaty. Take care of business at home. Meanwhile, in the AFC, there's quite a few clinching scenarios there too. Starting up at top, the Broncos have a chance to clinch the number 1 seed in the AFC with a win this week versus the Chiefs, plus a Patriots loss, Chargers loss or tie, Jaguars loss or tie, and Buffalo loss or tie. Funny enough, a lot of these outcomes are pretty realistic. The Broncos are playing a Chiefs team with no Patrick Mahomes and a 3rd-string quarterback. The Chargers are taking on the Texans. That's a losable game. Jaguars have the Colts. The Colts are fighting for their playoff lives. And Buffalo, they play the Eagles. Definitely a losable game there too. I think what ends up killing the Broncos' dreams here is the Pats. They play the Jets this week. You're not holding your breath for them to lose that game, so it may come down to Week 18. Additionally, the Broncos are still trying to win their division. They have not clinched the AFC West yet thanks to the Chargers. They can change that by the end of the week if they're able to beat the Chiefs and the Chargers lose or tie, or in the result that they somehow tie to the Chiefs and the Chargers lose straight up. Give some credit to those Bolts, man. They've continued fighting. It's been a rough season with injuries. There's been some tough moments. The Broncos went on such a massive winning streak up until recently, and yet they're only one game behind Denver and have the divisional record advantage as well. The Broncos better watch out, because one slip up and suddenly they go from top seed to a wild card team. As for the New England Patriots, I just mentioned it before, but there is a universe where they end up losing out on the #1 seed. Like I said, if they lose to the Jets and Denver win, it's over. Or in the result that they lose, Denver ties and the Chargers win, they also can't get that first round bye. That strength of schedule tiebreaker really may come back to bite them, but along with that, they have a chance to officially clinch the AFC East, and they can do so by winning versus the Jets, plus a Buffalo loss or tie against Philly, or in the result that they tie against the Jets and Buffalo straight up lose. It's kind of crazy that the Bills might make them sweat this out until week 18, but if you're a Pats fan, you're probably feeling pretty good about your chances just knowing that your final two opponents are the Jets and Dolphins. Over in the AFC South, the Jaguars have an opportunity to win their division if they're able to defeat the Colts and the Texans lose or tie against the Chargers, or in the result that they tie against Indy and the Texans lose straight up. A pretty realistic clinching scenario for the Jaguars here. They're one of the hottest teams in football. They're playing the Colts, who are tough, yes, but have been on a spiral for the last several weeks, while the Texans are playing the Chargers, a very losable game. And lastly, at the 4 spot in the AFC North, the Steelers can officially clinch the division if they can win or tie versus the Browns, or if the Ravens lose or tie against Green Bay. For those of you who watched my prediction video yesterday, I apologize for getting this clinching scenario wrong. I had said that if Baltimore win, they keep their hopes alive for another week, but that's just not true. My brain was wired to assume that the Steelers were going to lose to Detroit. It didn't even cross my mind that they actually have a 2-game lead over Baltimore now. The Texans also have a chance to clinch playoffs this week. They're still technically in the fight for their division, but they can officially make the playoffs no matter what if they're able to win or tie versus the Chargers, or in the result that the Colts lose or tie against the Jags. This Texans team felt dead in the water a couple of weeks ago, but thanks to a hot streak, here they are. And they've got a winnable game against the Chargers this week. It's a tough one, but with that Chargers O-line being so messed up, and with that Texans pass rush being so dangerous, anything is possible. And that's all we've got for the clinching scenarios, so let's take a look at the elimination scenarios. I can't believe I'm saying this, but the Detroit Lions can be eliminated from the playoffs this week with a loss or tie versus the Vikings, or a Green Bay Packers win or tie. Just knowing how relevant the Lions have been the last several years, it's weird to see them in this situation, but quite frankly, they haven't been the best football team this season. They've been inconsistent, and it's scary hours for them. They have to win out, and Green Bay have to lose out if they want to make the playoffs. Speaking of teams being disappointing, like I said earlier, Tampa Bay could be eliminated from the playoffs in the NFC South if they lose their game against Miami and the Panthers win or tie, or in the result that they tie and Carolina wins straight up. It doesn't feel likely that they're eliminated after this weekend, but hey, Tampa haven't exactly played the best football over the last month or so. They've choked a lot of games against teams that they should be significantly better than, so this could be another day at the office. Those are the only straight-up playoff elimination scenarios in the NFC, but there are some divisional and one-seed elimination scenarios as well. Like Green Bay, it's already unlikely they win the NFC North, but they'll officially be eliminated from winning the division if they lose to the Ravens, tie along with the Bears, or if the Bears straight up win their game against the San Francisco 49ers. We could also see the Rams be eliminated from their division and the 1 seed at the same time if they 1, lose to the Falcons, 2, the Seahawks and 49ers win their games, 3, they tie plus Seattle win, 4, they tie, Seattle ties, and San Francisco ties, or 5, they tie and San Francisco wins. It's kind of crazy that one loss has put them from at the top of their division to 3rd place. But hey, San Fran are in the exact same scenario. They could lose out on the 1 seed if they lose their matchup to the Bears, or if they tie and Seattle wins. There's also a situation where they could be eliminated from their division with some very similar results. If they lose to the Bears and Seattle win or tie, or if they tie and Seattle wins, then they can kiss their hopes of winning the NFC West goodbye. And it's kind of crazy I'm even saying this, just knowing the last several years, but Chicago still have a shot at the 1 seed as well. They'll be eliminated this week if they lose their game to San Fran, or if they tie and Seattle wins or ties their game. Over in the AFC, we have a couple of teams fighting for their playoff hopes still. One is the Baltimore Ravens. They are officially eliminated from the playoffs, like I said earlier, if they lose or tie their game against Green Bay, or if the Pittsburgh Steelers win or tie. A lot of big-time choke jobs this year have put them in this scenario. The Steelers have a multi-game lead. They can't afford to make any mistakes. Their fate is completely out of their hands. And the Colts also find themselves on the brink of elimination without being able to control their own destiny. If they lose or tie versus Jacksonville, or if the Texans win or tie versus the Chargers, they are officially eliminated. It's amazing that a team that started 7-1 is now running on life support. It goes to show that these days, no lead is truly safe in the NFL. Just to quickly breeze through some divisional elimination scenarios that we already talked about during the clinching side of things, the Bills officially can't win the AFC East if they lose and the Patriots win or tie, or if they tie and the Patriots win. The Texans can no longer win the AFC South if they lose versus the Chargers and the Jags defeat or tie with the Colts, or if they tie and the Jaguars win. And the Chargers can't win the AFC West if they lose to the Texans and Denver win or tie, or they tie and Denver wins. The Bills are technically still alive for the 1 seed as well, but I won't lie to you, it's not worth the headache going over it because there's like a billion different tiebreaker scenarios that could end up eliminating them, so you can pause to read this if you'd like. But yeah, that pretty much sums up all of the elimination and clinching scenarios for the NFL playoffs heading into Week 17. Let me know if your team is still fighting for a spot down in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, I'd appreciate it if you could leave a like and subscribe for more weekly NFL content.